see you. See who else is there. I saw Curtis earlier.
7. Everybody's here.
All right.
Okay.
Amy's on her way in.
Okay, Amy, do I need a, is there a flag? Should I be doing a Pledge of Allegiance beforehand?
We should. There's a, Mark, can you move the camera down there so we can see the flag?
Yes, give me just a second.
All righty. If we can stand so we can see the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everybody. And thank you, anybody who's on the streaming. Amy, you want to do a roll call, please?
Absolutely. Director Asner?
Here.
Director Faulkner?
Here.
Director Goodman?
Here.
Director Morgan?
Here.
Director Petroff?
Here.
Vice President Brown?
Here.
And President Cuneo?
Here. All righty. We have a quorum. We have one business item, I believe.
Yes.
Would someone like to make the motion, please?
Vice President Brown?
Here.
And President Cuneo?
Yes. Yeah. All righty. We have a quorum. We have one business item, I believe. Yes. Would someone like to make the motion, please?
Vice President Brown? Here. And President Cuneo?
Yes. Yeah.
Why are we repeating?
All righty.
Sorry, it looks like I have some kind of feedback loop here.
Yeah, we're getting a feedback on this. We have one business item, I believe. Yes. Would someone like to make the motion?
I was in the matrix for a minute.
Right.
I'd like to make a motion to approve, but can you guys hear over this?
All righty.
Sorry, it looks like I have some kind of feedback loop here.
Yeah, we're getting feedback on this. Go
ahead,
on,
Julie.
Billy. Make the motion.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to approve the proposed business item for today.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, wait, I'm sorry. I missed a lot of that.
And I'm sorry, I didn't
work on the
understand. Are we
feedback.
voting on the motion now?
Yes, we're voting on the motion to go virtual until the data goes otherwise.
Gotcha. Nay.
And I had a motion for that item. I had Vice President Brown made the motion. I did not hear a second.
Did we get a second on that?
You made a second, Mr. Faulkner?
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. All in favor? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Would you
All
mind
opposed?
raising your hand?
Yeah.
Okay, so who, and then who's opposed? Dr. Cuneo and Dr.
No.
Asner?
No.
I am opposed.
You're opposed. Thank you, Dr. Asner. And then everyone else was for?
Yes.
I think Julie was opposed. Did you raise your hand opposed, Julie?
No, I'm for going virtual.
Do we need to do a roll call vote?
Let's go. Let's do a roll call vote.
Yeah.
Just so we can understand. So Dr. Asner, you voted no.
No.
Mr. Faulkner, you voted yes.
Yes.
Ms. Goodman, you voted yes.
Yes.
Ms. Morgan?
Yes.
Yes. Ms. Petroff?
Yes.
And Vice President Brown, you voted yes.
Yes.
And President Cuneo, you voted yes.
That is correct.
Okay. And that's for student instructional learning to be 100% virtual during the first quarter.
Till the data shows that we can go back. There's no set line on that, no set timeline on that.
Okay. So the motion is to approve student instructional learning to be 100% virtual until the data shows
that we can go back safely.
Can we add on to that to be reconsidered at certain timelines? In other words, we may want to just look at it at some set dates as well, so that folks have a sense of when this will be reassessed.
Yes.
Or what times will the data be reassessed?
When would you like that to be? After the first quarter?
Could be within, why don't we say that it's done on a monthly basis to look at? That doesn't mean it's going to be reinstated, but it can be looked at. At least we would have an analysis of the data presented at least twice a month at the meetings.
But does that suggest that we wouldn't align with the partner districts then? Our separate schools might open before our partner districts? Is that the idea?
No, I think we can only say of what we're doing. That's my understanding.
But providing services and staff.
But we in turn would have to supply individuals to those individual learning centers.
Okay.
Any other on the amended may I go back to Dr. Asner? You wanted to amend that motion so that this be reassessed on a monthly basis. Is that correct?
That's acceptable. Yes. I just wanted to. My concern was that when we say until the data shows otherwise, that means we may not vote against. I know we would not, but it could mean that we would not vote on it again for another year. And I wanted to make sure that people understand that we are reconsidering, and and that we should probably be voting on it frequently enough that people have a sense that this is being reconsidered and that the data is being looked at on a regular basis.
Right.
Okay, would you like me to reread the motion?
Please do.
So everybody's in agreement with what they voted?
Well, we haven't voted on the amendment. That's why I want to make sure I understand the amendment.
Okay. I have the motion to approve student instructional learning to be 100% virtual until the data shows that students and staff can go back to school safely. This data will be reviewed on a monthly basis.
Okay. My understanding, the first motion was approved. Now we're asking, there's a second that wants an amended concept on that. And so now we're voting on that it would be reviewed on a monthly basis. Is that correct?
Yes.
We say pending the outcome of the data, because once we in turn get the data that if it shows negative, then at that point in time, we're going to be pulling it up anyway. So depending on the success of the data, meaning, we've got to say a certain degree of success has to take place.
Well, I don't want to put myself in a box and to find out what the success rates are, because that seems to carry. But I do think that we need to review it based on the data on a monthly basis. And I could see that as a motion.
Okay, well.
Before we vote, what are our benchmarks? What do we consider success?
I don't think we haven't made any benchmarks yet.
No,
we don't know.
Okay.
Everything that we're doing and everything that has been proposed to us in the last session gives us the best of our intents, the desired intents that we hope to be able to accomplish within the constraints of knowing too that we in turn will be functioning as a deficit in attempting to implement those intents. But it does require that there has to be an equal amount of participation with the same desired intent of success for any of this to work, because we know that we're putting forth our best efforts in this situation, given the realities of what we're dealing with. But we have to have other people to help us, and the partnering districts are those other people. And they have to in turn put in and have a commitment to it. That's what I was saying earlier. So I think that yes, monitoring to a monthly basis, And based upon the data that we get, that our efforts are pending a certain level of success. We don't have to say what level, but it has to have some degree of success for us to continue. It wouldn't make no sense for us to continue doing something that's not yielding positive outcome.
Well, but the question is, for example, if the measure is, are we containing the spiral outbreak? Well, SSD by itself won't make a big impact one way or another. So that's not a good measure. And that's the reason we're doing this in the first place. That's why we're going to virtual learning. This is part of a larger effort. So I don't think that's a good benchmark. And if the benchmark is, are the students getting as good of an education as they would be if they were learning in school? Well, the answer to that is no. We know that. This is not an easy, this is why I voted no and why, and I don't think anybody who voted yes was thinking anything other than that. This is not a good situation either way for anybody. So I don't know that that's a good benchmark either. I think that the data we should use is when we are told by public health officials that it's a safe situation for students to return. And I don't know that that's something that's measurable as much as it is that this is going to be a consensus we're getting from public health officials.
Well, I think that from a parent standpoint, from what we've seen in reference to the letters we've gotten, of course, once we put ourselves in motion, everybody's expecting us to be able to be the answer to their prayers, so to speak. We can't do that because we are not. But yet we can put forth the effort. We can agree to put forth efforts that in turn outline the parameters of what our efforts will be and what hopes we hope to be able to gain in those efforts. And at the time that we find that our efforts are not producing a certain level of expected success, because everybody's expecting something. So to that point, it's pending. And we're going to put forth our best effort and the virtual aspects of what we're offering. As a virtual reality, we're offering that. Now, I know that that after a month, we might decide, hey, this ain't working. And nobody is happy with what we're doing. So if nobody is happy with what we're doing, it's not going to work. So I think that, all we can really say is, look, we're willing to put forth our best effort. We're willing to underwrite at a deficit those efforts. And hopefully everyone who is partnering with us will put forth their best efforts for us to be able to make some positive gains and produce some positive results for what we all are saying we want to do with our kids. Of course,
it is my understanding that money has nothing to do with the closing of these schools, going virtual. This is purely a safety issue. When we talk about going virtual versus in-service, if we say that we're going to do this based...
The safety issue, Dr. Cuneo, is, there's a school of thought that is promoted by safety. All of this costs, because we're talking about, we followed up with all of our intents with a report on the deficits. And there's a cost.
But that's a separate issue. The issue that we're voting on, and I'm not saying that's not an important issue, but that's a separate issue here. The issue that we have on the table is whether we go virtual or not. Then the second issue that we have on the table is there a timeline on that? And the motion that was on the table, is my understanding, does it need to be reassessed on a monthly basis?
Well,
the criteria that we would use to be reassessing it, I think, needs to be developed at a later date.
We have to reassess on a periodical basis, whether it be monthly or whatever. Yes, I'll agree to the monthly.
Okay.
Well, Dr. Cuneo, if I could say something,
yes, ma'am.
I think it was administration's intent that this would go through the first quarter of the school year and would be discussed and reevaluated then. I may be wrong, but that's what our motion read initially.
Yes, but I believe that we wanted to say that we were not going to have a specific timeline on that, because we may move before the first quarter.
Okay.
We may go after the first quarter, depending upon the data.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I would keep it at this time that it is periodically, that it is reviewed on a monthly basis.
Okay. So is everybody okay with that then? Do we need Are
We
ready
need,
for a
we
vote?
need a vote on the amendment.
I am.
Okay.
I'm okay with that.
Okay,
Okay, if that was the amendment that was made and seconded, we need a vote on that.
okay. And who motioned and seconded on that for me?
I'll move.
Dr. Asner made the motion, and I believe Curtis seconded.
Okay. Dr. Asner,
Yes.
Mr. Faulkner,
Yes.
Ms. Goodman,
You may have
Ms.
had to leave.
Morgan,
Yes.
Ms. Petroff,
Yes.
Vice President Brown,
Yes.
and President Cuneo.
Yes. Would someone like to make a motion to adjourn?
Like to make a motion.
Good, Joy. Would someone like to, was there a second on that?
Second.
Good, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Be safe out there. Thank you, everybody.
Okay. Toodle.